Welcome back. Instead of stepping into a financial office, a lot of people are just logging on to social media for money-saving advice. Financial influencers or finfluencers are everywhere.
Are your financial decisions being influenced by misinformation? Finance influencers dominate social media, but not all their advice is gold. It's interesting how social media influencers have really made a name for themselves in the financial world. They've got huge followings, and they're using their platforms to change people's thoughts and actions about money matters. But what's worrying is that there's this increasing trend of some influencers sharing misleading information, which can really send their followers down the wrong path. It's definitely something to be mindful of. When we talk about misinformation here, we're referring to anything that's not quite right or is misleading about finance-related stuff. This could be anything from advice about investments that's off the mark, wrong info about what's happening in the markets, or even shady practices when it comes to financial products or services. So one of the ways these finance influencers can mislead people is by pushing high-risk investments without really telling the risks. They might excite a certain cryptocurrency or a risky stock, making it sound like you're guaranteed to make a lot of money. But what they're not telling you is how unpredictable these investments can be, and that there is a real chance you could lose a lot of money. These get-rich-quick schemes that some influencers push, they make it sound like you could make a ton of money real fast, with hardly any effort or investment. But let's be real, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And unfortunately, people who buy into these schemes can end up losing a lot of money. Sometimes these finance influencers might have their interests at heart, not their followers. For example, they could be getting paid to promote a certain financial product or service, but they don't let their followers know about it. This can lead to them giving biased advice and not really what's best for their followers. You know, the misinformation that some finance influencers spread can really cause a lot of trouble. It can lead people to make some not so great financial decisions, like taking on debt they don't need, making investments that are way too risky, or even falling for scams. And in the worst case scenarios, people can end up losing a ton of money or even going bankrupt. It's a serious issue, no doubt about it. So what could be some reasons why finance influencers spread wrong information? Some might be doing it unknowingly, perhaps because they lack the proper understanding or expertise in finance. But then, some might be doing it deliberately just to fill their pockets based on their followers' actions. The issue of misinformation gets magnified because so many people are now turning to social media for financial guidance. They might place more trust in these influencers than they would in a conventional financial advisor or institution. Perhaps they find these influencers more approachable, or they feel that these influencers genuinely care about their financial well-being. To fight against this misinformation, it's crucial for us to question the financial advice people get on social media. It's a good idea to cross-check information from different sources, seek guidance from knowledgeable experts, and be cautious of promises that seem unrealistically good. Regulators indeed have a crucial role in addressing this issue. They can make rules stricter for financial promotions on social media, ensure that influencers are transparent about potential conflicts of interest, and take action against those who spread false or misleading information. Finance influencers can definitely give useful tips and knowledge, but there's a flip side to it, the danger of misinformation, which can lead us towards risky financial decisions. So it's super important for us to be careful when we're taking financial advice from social media. And that's not all. It's equally important for the regulatory bodies to increase their vigilance and ensure that consumers are protected against such misinformation. So now guys, do you think whether there will be any regulations in place to prevent misinformation by finance influencers? Different corners of the globe have rolled out rules to stop the spread of false information by finance influencers. The big idea behind these rules is to keep consumers safe and sound, and to keep the financial sector steady and trustworthy. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure people get spot-on and dependable financial advice. In many places, there is a rule book for giving financial advice, so anyone who's serving up financial tips, including influencers, might need to have their name on an official register or hold a license from a regulatory authority. And that's not all. They're often expected to tick certain boxes in terms of professional standards, like having the right qualifications or experience. Financial advice isn't the same for everyone. Rules usually say that any financial tips should be customized for the individual receiving them. So, if an influencer is sharing financial tips, they should consider the unique situations of their followers. This includes understanding their followers' financial objectives and how much risk they're comfortable with, and the time frame they're looking at for their investments. Besides the rules made for financial advice, influencers also have to play by the larger rulebook. So, if an influencer shares misleading information, they could be held accountable under laws that prohibit fraud and dishonest activities. Some places have rules for ads about money. These rules say that ads can't lie and have to be upfront with you. Also, if someone like a social media star is getting paid to promote a financial product, they have to let you know about that too. It seems like financial regulators are monitoring influencers more closely nowadays. Some have even raised the dangers of blindly following financial tips from these influencers. Sometimes an influencer might give a thumbs up to a product or service, but here they're doing it because they're getting paid, not necessarily because it's the best option for their followers. This is what we call a conflict of interest, and it can lead to advice that's not quite on the level. Some influencers might advise you to invest all your money in just one project, but if that venture doesn't give positive results, you lose everything. That's where diversification comes into play. It's like spreading your seeds across different fields. By investing in a mix of assets, you're reducing the risk. It's a fundamental rule of investing that keeps your finances safe. Good financial advice isn't the same for everyone. It should be tailor-made to you, considering your income, spending, financial goals, risk tolerance, and investment plans. However, some influencers dish out generic advice without considering these crucial aspects. There are instances where influencers might be pushing downright illegal activities, like insider trading or pump and dump schemes. Not only are these activities a big no from an ethical standpoint, but they also can land you in some serious legal trouble. There are some influencers out there who might pretend to be financial gurus, even when they don't have the right qualifications or experience. They might use some fancy financial terms or make bold forecasts about the future just to seem smarter than what they actually are. Every investment has its risks, and it's very important to consider these before you start. However, some influencers might only tell you about the good parts, highlighting the possible profits of an investment without mentioning the risks. Navigating financial advice online requires critical thinking. Now, ready to take control of your financial future? Don't let misleading influencers dictate your decisions. Comment your thoughts on this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.